Hi, and welcome to Tony's Cool Tools. I really appreciate you stopping by. I recently came back from a family vacation, and I wanted to give a shout out to Lori and Quentin from Branch's Seine River Resort in beautiful Ontario or Atikokan, Canada. I highly recommend this resort for their amazing fishing and their fantastic food. It rivals five-star restaurants. So thanks again, Lori and Quentin. We look forward to coming back. So I don't know if you've noticed, but in the last few years, the vertical splitter market has exploded. All the major manufacturers have come out with their version of vertical splitters. Now, vertical splitters have been around for 30 years or more, but mostly in the commercial market. So the consumers really haven't seen a lot of the verticals, except in the big dollar range. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you about one of the oldest splitter companies out there that has come out with their version of the vertical splitter. And it's affordable, fast, compact, and powerful. So stay tuned. This company has been around since 1984, and many of you will recognize them by their two-way splitter design. And the company I'm referring to is Splitfire of Canada. Now, Marco and Lenny are the sons of the inventor and are the second generation running this company. This is the 1165V, Splitfire's new version of the vertical splitter. And when I say new version, about 10 years ago they came out with a vertical splitter, but the marketplace just wasn't ready for it, so they discontinued it. But now everyone's looking for a vertical splitter. So let me show you why this splitter is so special and different. This splitter is rated at 7.5 tons. Now that may not seem like a lot, but with this knife design, it goes through material like butter. And one of the most impressive features of this splitter is its 3.5 second cycle time. The 1165 weighs 450 pounds. That's very similar to any box store splitter out there. And it's 84 inches to the top here. And I'll explain why that's so important in just a minute. Now, similar to most of the vertical splitters on the market now, this comes with a 20-inch stroke. I also opted to get as an option this limiter here. It's a 16-inch limiter, and that's because primarily I only split 16-inch wood for bundles and fireplace wood. Now the knife, the carriage, and the peeler plate here are all zinc coated. And for those of you who may not be familiar with a peeler plate, it basically removes a log that's stuck on your knife here when the ram retracts. A very nice feature to have. One nice thing about the splitter is you don't have to grease the beam like other splitters. Splitfire uses these replaceable UHMW plastic werb pads right here, so they last for years and are replaceable if you wear them out. And if you're wondering where the hydraulic tank is, it's incorporated in the frame here. It holds 4.5 gallons of hydraulic fluid, and you can easily access it by these two hex bolts here at the top. And it also has this sight glass over here, so you can tell if it's full or not. And when you're ready to change the hydraulic filter, it's a standard filter that you could pick up at your local farm and ranch store or automotive store. And as you can see, it's super easy to access. The 1165 has two hydraulic operating systems. The first one is just the handle. It's also an auto return, so as soon as you press it down, it cycles down. When you're through, you just lift that up and it automatically retracts. And the second option is a knee-operated control. Yes, it's an industry first, and I'm fortunate to have the first production machine that has a knee control on it. Splitfire feels that a knee control is a bit safer than a foot control. And I'll show you that momentarily. Splitfire doesn't use cables, chains, or rods on their knee control. Everything is heavy duty, including these Heim joints here, which will last a lifetime. The height of the splitter from the top of the table to the ground is 32 inches. Dimensions of the table are 28 by 18, and it does come with a belly protector here. The only one in the industry that I know that does it. And the purpose for that, for those of you who are unfamiliar with it, is if you have a piece of wood that's cut on an angle and you try to split it, it kicks out a lot of times. Unless you put the angled part in the back here, and then it will split towards the back and not towards you. As an option, Splitfire offers an extension table here. The measurements are 16 by 18. It's extremely heavy duty made, and you can have one on each side if you choose, or just on one side. So the other option in lieu of a side table is the log lifter table here. It's 30 by 18, and if you have a side table on that side, you have a total of 76 inches by 18 inches. So you can either stage wood or you can lift large blocks of wood. And this will lift a maximum of 150 pounds, so it's gonna save your back tremendously. So to give you a demonstration, here's a block of wood. It's oak, it's 22 inches in diameter. Let's see what the Splitfire will do lifting this up. As you can see, no problem whatsoever. And I can just move everything right over if I needed to, right on the table. When it comes to powering your splitter, there are three options. The first one is the standard Lonson gas engine. The second one is the upgraded GX200 Honda. And the third is a 110 or 115 volt, 15 amp electric motor. So you do have three options depending on what your needs are. Just one FYI, regardless of which gas engine you choose, you will need a long funnel or a gas tank that has a long hose on it. I'm using one of these, and it works great for filling it. The 1165 is not rated for highway or road use, but you can move it around your property easily with the 2-inch receiver. And when you want to store the unit when you're finished splitting, you can just pull the pin here and retract it. That way it's a smaller footprint. And in addition to the 2-inch receiver, Splitfire offers this caster assembly here. It makes it easy to move your splitter to the wood or out of the wood depending on how you're working, and it works great on concrete or gravel here. Let me show you. And as you know, this weighs 450 pounds, but I can move it easily. There are two flip-up stabilizers here. So when you get to your location, you flip these down and put the pin in. And if you're in real soft ground, get a 1x2 of some kind and put it underneath it so it doesn't sink into the ground. And you're more level and stable. So there are two options on tires and wheels. The first one is a tapered bearing type tire and wheel, and the second option is the 4-bolt removable tire and wheel. That's the one I chose to go with. Just in case I get a flat tire, I can easily change this very quickly. I wanted to point out one thing, and that is the 1165 is currently painted and not powder coated. However, Splitfire tells me that they will be powder coating their splitters very similar to their chippers or their tractor three-point carryalls. Now, before I start any new gas-powered equipment, I do two things. First, I install an hour meter. And the purpose for that is just knowing the maintenance schedule, when I need to change the oil at 50 hours, 25 hours, whatever it is. And secondly is fluid film. I coat the whole table, the whole unit actually, with fluid film. And no, I'm not sponsored or affiliated in any way with fluid film, but what I found over years is it works extremely well. The logs just slide over the surface. It's also a rust preventative, and it's super cool as far as how easy everything works after you coat it. Okay, now that we've talked about the machine, let me show you how well it splits here. Well, you saw me roll the splitter down the hill here and position it in the flattest area that I have. Anything beyond that area over there, and it's slopey. So I got it as far down as I can. Now we may still have an issue with it, with the logs falling off, because it is slightly tilted. We'll see. But one thing I've got to get used to, and that is, most of the other splitters that I have used, the log lift is on the right-hand side and the table is on the left-hand side. So I've got to get used to this because I'm right-handed. But here's the logic that Splitfire had. Because their hand control was on the right-hand side, they felt that they put the log lift on the left-hand side because you can move the logs over. However, after talking with them, they said that there is going to be an option in the future to either have it on the right side or the left side. So let's go ahead and start splitting. Let me put my PPE on and we'll get to it. Well, as you can see, that's pretty doggone fast, and this knee control is pretty good. I thought that I might not like this, but I'll tell you what, I'm liking it a lot. My hands are free, and the knee seems to be very intuitive as far as pushing it in and out. So I think it's going to work out pretty doggone good, especially for kindling, which I'll show you in a little bit. The only problem that I see is I'm on an angle here, and the vibration is causing the wood to fall down. So I may have to work on something, a clamp or something here with a lip, so it doesn't fall down. Previously, I had mentioned that the 1165 was awesome at kindling cutting. Now, Splitfire in the future will have a kindling attachment for this, but I don't see why, because I'll show you how fast this thing cuts. It's absolutely amazing. I challenge any other machine to go against this one for kindling now. Now, one tip I will say, when I have my axis splitter and I was doing kindling, I found by using just standard styrofoam here, putting it down, the material doesn't slip off as much. As well as I put just a thin sheet here, and it's so far stuck around as far as not falling or shaking off here as well. But let me show you. So as you can see, that's pretty doggone fast, and I can fill one of these buckets up right here very quickly. So at the end of the day, you want to fold this table up for storage or for moving it around. And all you do is you pull this pin here, lift this all the way up, and there's a secondary pin right in the back here. And that's it. You're ready for storage. I had mentioned that the 1165 is 84 inches tall, and I'd explain why that's so important. And that is, you can put it inside a standard garage, or actually even a smaller garage, because 84 inches, you should be able to get that even in a shed. Let me show you. And that's how easy it is. From this to this. So as you can see, my gas grill has a larger footprint than this 1165V. And it also is much narrower as well. So I have plenty of room to pull my car in without worrying about damaging it. Well, I hope you've come to the same conclusion as I did after watching this video on the 1165V, and that is that Splitfire has hit a home run with this splitter. And when I said economical, if you check their website, I typically don't mention pricing because that changes so often nowadays with supply chain and everything. But if you go on there, the basic model is about $2,300, which is only a few $100s more than some of the higher end splitters at your box store. And you get so many more features out of this thing than a standard box store splitter. If you like watching the Splitfire vertical splitter, check out these other 3 channels. Derek's Stuff, Steve from Up in Smoke, and Russell Bellevoie. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. I'll have their channel links in the info section below. I'll have contact information on Splitfire as well as Branch's Seine River Resort in the info section below as well. So if you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, pass it forward, make the world a better place. And don't be a tool. Watch Tony's Cool Tools. Until I see you next time, have a great one.